Welcome students. So let's continue with the chapter chemical bonding and molecular structure. And in this particular chapter, we were in the topic that we have discussed about the factors which can affect the uh, ionic bond formation. Okay. And in that particular factors, we have discussed about the first, that is the low ionization energy. Then next is the high electron gain enthalpy. Now we are going to study about the factor that will affect the next factor that will affect the formation of an ionic bond. The factor is lattice enthalpy. The next factor is lattice enthalpy. Okay, so what is lattice enthalpy? Or we will explain this particular thing, that what is lattice enthalpy. So let's first define the lattice enthalpy. So the amount of energy released when free ions combines together to form 1 mole of 1 mole of a crystal is called the lattice enthalpy or lattice energy. Lattice enthalpy. Okay. So lattice enthalpy is the energy which is required, which has been released. Generally, it is released out when two or more ions combine with each other, and the amount of energy is calculated for 1 mole of that crystal formed due to the combination of ions. Okay. When 1 mole of crystals has been formed, then the amount of energy being released out there, that particular amount of energy is been termed as the lattice energy. Okay. So for example, if I am considering for sodium, so sodium's atom which is in gaseous state, okay, it will release one of its electron in its gaseous state to form a sodium cation. Okay. Then this particular electron will be gained by the chlorine gas to form chloride anion. Now both this sodium cation and chloride anion will attach with each other to form NaCl, okay, sodium chloride crystal. So here the amount of energy here, it is different. What the amount of energy will be required to release the ion, okay, to release to make a positive ion, electron is been released, and for releasing of electron, amount of energy is to be absorbed out there by the sodium atom. So the amount of energy which has been absorbed out there, it is here the ionization enthalpy here is 495.8 Kelvin. Next, for gaining of electron here, okay, in a chloride ion, the amount of energy which is been released out here, it is 348.7 kilojoule per mole. Okay, for gaining of electron from n chlorine ion, chlorine atom to form chloride ion, okay, the amount of energy which has been released out here, it is 348.7 Kelvin. And when two of these, both the anions which is formed, that is Na plus and Cl minus, has been formed out there, this when these ions are attaching with each other, and the amount of energy which is been required out here, which is lattice enthalpy or lattice energy, that is represented by U, it is here minus 788 kilojoule per mole. Okay, for formation of 1 mole of energy, for formation of 1 mole, this much amount of energy for NaCl will be required out there. Okay, so this is the um, lattice enthalpy. Okay, so now the relation of lattice enthalpy with the that of the formation of ionic bond, higher the value of lattice enthalpy, higher the value of lattice enthalpy, greater the greater will be the ease of greater will be ease of formation of ionic compound. Greater will be the formation of ease of ionic compound. Okay, so higher the value of lattice enthalpy, greater will be ease of formation of ionic compound. Okay, so hence the lattice enthalpy which has been released out here, that energy must be as much as possible higher. Why it is possible, why it must be higher? Because the more amount of energy which has been released out there, the more energy will be required out there to break that particular bond, and hence it will be more difficult. If more amount of energy has been released out there, then it will be more difficult to break that particular lattice there, and hence the stability of the ionic ion which has been formed out there, it will increase. Okay, let's move further and see the properties, general characteristics of ionic bonds. So for the general characteristics of ionic bond, number one, it is the physical state. We are going to discuss about the physical state of ionic bonds. So the physical state of ionic bond in the general condition, we will see that the crystalline solids are generally formed by ionic bonds. Okay, if ionic bond is formed between and due to that ionic compound is been released out there, okay, formed out there, then that ionic compound will have more chance of forming a crystalline solid there. Okay, hence the number of the oppositely charged ion present and as the nearest neighbor around an ion, it is called as the coordination number. The number of oppositely charged ions present as the nearest neighbor as the nearest neighbor around an ion is called its coordination number. Okay, for example, if I am taking an example for a lattice of NaCl. Okay, so for the lattice of NaCl, a cube can be considered that which is the lattice of a NaCl. Okay, so in that the smaller ions there, it will represent the chlorine, and the larger ions which are represented by large sphere here, they will represent the sodium here. Okay, they will represent the sodium. So like this only, if I am forming a cube here, I am forming a cube here in which the large particles are representing the sodium here and the small particles are representing the chlorine here. Then in this Here you can see that I am representing the sodium ion by large circles and representing the chlorine ion with smaller circles. Okay, so this is the formation of a crystal lattice, and here you can see that each sodium atom is been 1, 2, 3 and 4, okay, surrounded by 4 chlorine atoms. Each sodium atom is been surrounded by 4 chlorine atoms. So here you will see that the coordination number for sodium, coordination number for sodium will become 4. Similarly, for each chlorine atom, you will see that they are surrounded by 4 sodium atoms. Okay, so for chlorine also, the coordination number will become 4. Okay, the coordination number will become 4. So the neighboring atoms, for a particular ion in a crystal lattice, it has been termed as the coordination number. Okay, it has been termed as the coordination number. Okay, let's move further and see the melting point and boiling point for ionic crystals. Melting point and boiling point trend of ionic crystal. Ionic crystal. So here they have, due to presence of very high, very strong electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction between ions, the melting point and boiling point. The melting point and boiling point of ionic compounds is very high. Okay, to break this particular electrostatic force, okay, in order to break this electrostatic force, very high amount of energy, of heat energy is required, and therefore we will term that the melting point and boiling point is very high, okay, for the ionic compounds. Next is solubility. Solubility. So for the solubility, the ionic compounds as are polar, okay, ionic compounds ionic compounds are polar compounds. Polar compound means they are having charges there, okay, they are having charges in them. So they will get easily dissolved in they will get easily dissolved in polar solvents. They will get easily dissolved in the polar solvents such as water, okay, water, etc. But their solubility their solubility in non-polar solvents non-polar solvents such as organic solvents, example benzene, CCl4, etc., will be lower. Okay, it will be very very lower. They will be either insoluble also in non-polar solvents. Next, the electrical conductivity. The electrical conductivity. In solid state, in solid state, their electrical conductivity electrical conductivity is very low, is very low, and they behave as insulators, and they behave as insulators. Okay, while in aqueous solution, while in aqueous solution or in molten state, the ions will be present there, and hence the electrical conductivity will be high, will be higher. Okay, so the electrical conductivity depends on the state. Okay, if they are in solid state, if the ionic compounds are in solid state, then due to the neutrality of the atom of the compounds there, okay, the compounds are neutral in their solid state, so hence what will happen, their conductivity will be very low, and sometimes they will behave as insulator also. Okay, but in aqueous solution or in molten state, the ions will be found out there, and hence what will happen, we will see that the free electrons will be there or free ions will be there, and hence the electrical conductivity where there will be more. Okay, next is the anisotropy. Anisotropy. So the ionic compounds, ionic compounds have different physical properties, different physical properties when when physical conditions are checked from different directions, different directions. This phenomenon is called anisotropy. This phenomenon is called anisotropy. Okay. Now, moving, these were the some of the general properties of your ionic compounds. Moving further, let's see the covalent compounds or covalent bonds. Okay, so let's start for covalent bonds. So, covalent bond. What are covalent bonds? So, for ionic bond, if I am taking an example for ionic bond, that one ion that is positive and one cation that is negative. Okay, this is the ion for A plus and this is the atom for B minus. Okay, so here what will happen out here? Here the formation of bond will be like this. Here the formation of bond will be something like this. Okay. We will see that the bond formation is something like this, and here the attachment will be the between two atoms will be like this. They will not intersect or they will not merge with each other, but they will just touch with each other. Both the atoms will be touch with each other, and this coordination, okay, this bonding here, it is due to the presence of high, very strong electrostatic force. But in case of covalent bond, the atoms which are present here, okay, for example, if I am taking hydrogen, okay, hydrogen atom, and if I am taking chlorine atom here. So the outermost number of electrons for chlorine it is 7 and for hydrogen it is 1. So we will see that hydrogen needs to complete its duplet in order to achieve inert gas configuration, and chlorine requires one atom, okay, one electron for completing its outermost inert gas configuration. Okay, so here what will happen? The sharing of electron will take place between this hydrogen and chlorine. One atom, one electron of hydrogen will be shared with the one electron of the chlorine, and hence the formation of a covalent bond will take place. Okay, due to the mutual sharing of electrons between hydrogen and chlorine, the formation of covalent bond will take place here, and the compound which is found out here, this will become HCl. So we will see that HCl, it will be a covalent bonded compound. Okay, here no gaining or losing of electron will be observed out. Which kind of elements generally follow this type of rules? The p block elements, or the elements which are very smaller in size or having only one or two shells there, they generally prefer the formation of your covalent compounds. Okay, now let's move further and see the definition for the covalent compound. The bond formed by mutual sharing, by mutual sharing of electrons, the bond formed by mutual sharing of electrons between the combining atoms, between the combining atoms of the same or different elements, of the same or different elements is called as a covalent bond, is called as a covalent bond. Okay, here in the covalent bond, the sharing of electron takes place. Okay, the sharing of electron will be take place here, which I have explained out here to you. Now different types of covalent bonds are there. Different types of covalent bonds are there. The number one is single covalent bond. Single covalent bond. And in single covalent bond, we will see that when one hydrogen atom is forming a covalent bond with another hydrogen atom to form a dihydrogen molecule, in that particular case, we will see that one electron of each hydrogen atom is being shared out here, and they are forming a single covalent bond here, which is represented like this: H bonded with H, and the compound here is H2. So this is the example for your single covalent bond, and you can explain it like this: the covalent bond in which single electrons are shared by each hydrogen atom, each atom, each atom is called single covalent bond. Single covalent bond. Next is the double covalent bond. Double covalent bond. Okay, double covalent bond. In double covalent bond, we can take an example of oxygen here. The oxygen is carrying two unpaired electrons. So if I am taking two oxygens which are containing two unpaired electrons there, so then these unpaired electrons will form a covalent bond with each other, and here we will see that the number of electrons which is been shared by each oxygen atom here, it is 2. Okay, each atom will be sharing out two electrons here, and hence the formation of double covalent bond will take place. So the covalent bond in which two electrons, each atom is being shared, two electrons from each atom is shared, each atom is shared, is called double covalent bond, is called double covalent bond. Okay, next, triple covalent bond. Triple covalent bond. So in case of triple covalent bond, here triple covalent bond, here what will happen, we will see that in case of nitrogen, three unpaired electrons are present. So if I am taking two atoms of nitrogen, in each three electrons, unpaired electrons are present out here. So here each nitrogen atom will share three electrons here for the formation of a triple covalent bond. Okay, so the definition for triple covalent bond becomes like this: the covalent bond in which three electrons are shared from each atom, covalent bond in which three electrons are shared from each atom, then it is called triple covalent bond. Triple covalent bond. Okay, and it is represented like this: N triple bond N, which is compound N2. And here in case of oxygen, you can represent it like this: O double bond O, and it is O2. Okay, so these are the three types of covalent bond which has been formed out generally. Now for this particular session, I am ending the class here only. Okay, after the types of bond only, covalent bond. And in the further session, we will move further with the covalent bond, its properties, formal charge, and all these things will be studied out there. So for this particular session, I am ending the class here only. We will meet in next class. Thank you.